Members of the public and staff present in person and watching online this evening, welcome to the April 2026 Ordinary Meeting of Strathfield Council. This meeting will be conducted under the provisions of the Local Government Act 1993 and Council's adopted Code of Meeting Practice. Specifically, persons in the gallery are advised they may not record the proceedings of a meeting of a council or committee without the authority of the council or committee. Mobile phones must be turned to silent so as to not disrupt the meeting. Using mobile phones to record the meeting where the audio or visual is not permitted. This meeting is live streamed and a recording will be made available on Council's website to allow the community to follow Council's debates and decisions. Members of the public attending agree to have their image, voice and personal information, including name and addresses, recorded and publicly broadcast. Strathfield Council does not accept liability for any defamatory remarks or inappropriate comments that are made during the course of a meeting. Any part of the meeting that is held in closed session will not be streamed. Could all in the chambers please stand if you are able for the Mayor of Strathfield. Please resume your seats. The time being 6:34 p.m. I declare the Ordinary Council meeting of 28th of April 2026 open. Councillors, I would remind you of your obligation to faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities, and the discretions vested under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to be the best of your ability and judgment, and as Chair, will call you to order should be need to do so. I would now like to ask everyone who is able to stand for the moment of reflection. We pray that our deliberations today will be objective and the decisions are impartial and made for the benefit of the whole community. Let's begin by acknowledging the Wangal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet is being held, which this meeting is being held. We pay respect to elders, past, present, and emerging. Thank you. You can now all resume your seats. There is an apology has been received from Councillor Pensabini, who has advised that she is unable to attend the meeting tonight due to illness and requests that the Council grant her a leave of absence. I move that the Council grants Councillor Pensabini a leave of absence for the 28th of April 2026 ordinary meeting of Council. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Sandy Reddy. Is there any debate on the motion? There be no debate, no further on the motion. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hands. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Councillors, I will ask you to make any disclosure of interest for the matters on which are on the agenda. If you do have a disclosure, I request that you raise your hand, and when I call upon you, please stand and clearly state the item, the nature of the conflict, and what action you will take. Okay, for myself, I
would like to declare one of the motion at the 10.7 in strengthening heritage protection and local characters in Strathfield. As I am living in the area, I got a house located in the zone of conservation heritage. So I may have the conflict of the pecuniary, yeah. So I prefer to leave the room, let the deputy chair to chair the meeting. Any other disclosure of interest? If not, okay, councillors, the purpose of acknowledgement is to recognize the many great contributions that are made from and for our community. In that spirit, we should ensure that the positive comments are provided for the public record. Councillors, does anyone have an acknowledgement that they wish to bring before the meeting? Councillor Kim?
Yeah, I'd like to acknowledge the outstanding organization of the 75th anniversary commemoration of the Kapyong Battle. My sincere thanks to the staff of Strathfield Council, particularly Naomi, Aylan, and Pinang, along with the relevant directors for their dedication and professionalism. I also recognize Matt Jones, President of Cumberland RSS Sub-Branch, and Greg Reed, Secretary for their commitment, leadership, and valued contributions. This event would not have been possible without their support. My sincere appreciation to all involved, all councillors too. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other acknowledgement? Councillor Mary?
I think the Mayor will be doing the acknowledgement for the Anzac Day for the conducted by Strathfield Council. I had the opportunity to attend another Anzac Day service in Cherrybrook on 26th of April, and this was an Anzac Day commemoration for Anzac Day Jawan Cenotop in Cherrybrook, and this was conducted by Hindu Council of Australia and by the Hornsby RSL sub-branch in acknowledging the service and sacrifice of 15,000 Indian soldiers who fought in World War I and World War II along with the Alliance forces. And my second acknowledgement is for the Sri Venkateshwara Temple in Helensburgh. They laid a foundation stone for their cultural center, and Sri Venkateshwara Temple is the first ever Hindu temple in Australia, and they're going to make a cultural center. And I got the opportunity to lay the foundation stone along with the ex-councillor Raj Datta. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other acknowledgement?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to acknowledge the retirement of Father James Collins over in Burwood. Despite doing the majority of his work in Burwood, he did create the parish pantry, which supports people in need around the area. As he moves into retirement and moving over to Scotland, we wish him rest and rejuvenation and time to spend with his family, and we thank him for his service to Burwood and Strathfield.
Thank you. And the Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a rather obscure acknowledgement this month, but something I like to do is read the word of the day each day. I think it's a nice way to begin the day. And today I was reading the word of the day, and it was boondoggle, which I thought was rather relevant considering we had a council meeting tonight. So just want on the record that a boondoggle is an expensive and wasteful project usually paid for with public money. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
One more.
It can be recurring.
No, just relevant.
I'd like to acknowledgement for extended to Deputy Prime Minister, who came and delivered a speech emphasizing the importance of Battle of Kapyong for the good relationship between Australia and Korea. was so emphasizing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I am going to make acknowledgement towards the NZ Day Memorial Services. I would like to acknowledge and thank everyone who was involved in the NZ Day Memorial Service. This event was organized jointly by the Cumberland ISL Sub-Branch and Strathfield Council. Thanks to Matt Jones and Greg Reed of the Cumberland ISL Sub-Branch for their thoughtful provision of a service program that highlighted military events and the service people who are often forgotten. Matt and Greg's vast knowledge of military events and the protocol is indispensable. Thank you to the many council staff who were involved in the organization of the event, including the event team who covered every detail without disruption, ensuring the formal and the refreshing atmosphere of this important event. Park staff were on site very early in the morning to ensure all work was completed and the park was spotless. Thank you to all the speakers, musicians, and the special guests. Trinity and Meriden Cadet Catfolk Party, Hills Pipe Band, Strathfield Girls High School, Sophia Zhang from Santa Sabina, Carson Hill Feng Chung from St. Patrick's College, David Rick, 5th Battalion, the Royal Australian Regiment, Joseph Felters, Homebush Boys High School, Lions Club for providing barbecue, Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh volunteers. Am I right?
Yep.
Thank you. Can I have a mover for the adoption of the minutes?
I'll move it.
You move it? Okay, Councillor Reddy and seconded by Councillor Barty. Councillors, does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Okay, there's no mayoral minutes this week. Okay, now we are going to the items by exemption. Okay, in accordance with Section 13 of Council's Code of Meeting Practice, items can be dealt with by exception and that they can be adopted as recommended by a single motion. Okay, 10.1, 10.2.
Yep.
Out?
Yep.
Okay. 10.3,
Out.
10.4, 10.5,
Out, please, Mr. Mayor.
10.6,
No.
okay. 10.7,
Out, please.
Out.
10.8,
Out.
okay. 10.9,
Out.
10.10,
Out.
10.11, 10.12, 10.13,
Out.
1.3 is out, did you say?
10.39.
10.3 is out, yeah. All right, we are going to LC1, LC2, CCS1, CCS2,
Out.
PE1,
Out.
PE2,
Out.
Out.
PE3,
Out.
EO1, EO2, EO3,
Out.
huh?
EO3 out.
EO4,
Out.
EO5,
Out.
EO6,
Out.
hmm?
Out, please.
Okay. EO7,
Out.
12.1,
Out.
12.2, out.
Traffic forum. Take it
Bring it
out.
out anyway, yeah.
Out. 12.2.
Tempted.
Okay, 13.1 has been withdrawn. Okay, it is 13.2,
Out.
Just pulling 13.2 out means it gets asked, yeah.
can I have a mover for the motion that listed? Okay, can I have a seconder? Okay, Councillor Baradi? Yeah, thank you. And the April's public forum was held at 6 p.m. this evening prior to the commencement of this ordinary meeting. The record of public forum will be made available on Council's website. Okay, now we're going to 10.2.
I'll just move a procedural motion, Mr. Mayor. Suspending standing orders and bringing 10.10 to now, dealing with that matter and then returning to the agenda.
Okay, can I have a seconder for the motion? By Sandy Reddy. I'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. I declare motion carried unanimously. Okay, now we're going to 10.10. Can I have a mover for the motion? Councillor Baladi, and seconded by Councillor Reddy. Councillors, would you now like to speak for the motion?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I know there was some discussion at the public forum earlier about supporting, in theory, this boundary change and whatnot. None of that is really being debated tonight. What we are doing is making an alteration to what we had agreed upon at the last meeting. At the last meeting, there was dialogue amongst councillors, and there was a little bit of confusion as to what, in fact, we were voting on, and there was confusion with staff, and I think there was a miscorrection made. We are just seeking to actually support what we had intended to support at the last meeting. So we're not debating the principle of the motion, we're just making an alteration to what was technically agreed upon last time to what we intended to agree on. So that's what we are voting on here, not actually debating the merit of the matter. Councillors are of course welcome to debate the merit of the matter, and it can be rejected here, but nonetheless, the motion is an alteration rather than a notice of motion in the normal sense. So we're just trying to do something procedural here rather than debate. The councillors who supported this last time still supported, of course, the consultation, that is, and we just want to make sure we're getting it right before we go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Northworthy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we had a speaker in support of the old version, now we obviously have the new version that councillors, I think, are proposing. I guess the concern here is there's now a couple of versions floating around that might cause confusion. Obviously, we talked about fatigue in filling in a consultation last time. That's probably only going to get worse. My opinion is if there was a clear and obvious error that we were fixing, we would have had one model and that would have passed and we wouldn't still be talking about it. We're now on our third model, and that suggests to me that there isn't clear agreement. There isn't a clear model to go forward with, and I continue to fear that we will go through many, many consultations and then still fall at the line where the state government has their input. So that will inform my vote.
Thank you, Councillor.
Just a question quickly through the chair, and obviously I am supportive of this, but I just want to, through the chair to the General Manager, will we, because we do not want that confusion there, I believe, is there a period that we're going to have a bit of a gap to make sure it's a clear, definitive definition between that proposal which went out incorrectly and this one? What sort of time frame is that expected? Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So we could enact a gap if the councillors would like that, suggest a month, and then we could kick off the exhibition with the model that's proposed tonight if it's voted upon. If that's
Good idea.
That still has to go for exhibition for people's comments.
Yes.
A question, Mr. Baird? Yep. In a final submission through the chair, probably to the same director, do we include previous consultations, or is it this is the most recent consultation, these are the results, and that gets sent off?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, we would talk about the process from the day we started through to wherever we land, and that shows the GMB, the breadth of the consultation that's been undertaken.
Thank you. Any other debate for or against the motion?
Just not necessarily in support, but somewhat, in response to what Councillor Nosworthy mentioned. Look, this is a consultation. We're not deciding to do anything here. We're deciding to ask the community what they think. And if it comes back that 75% of people don't like this, then it's not going to have legs anyway by the time it gets to the GMB. Council's providing an opportunity for a number of residents who want to see change, the opportunity to consult them, talk about the change they're interested in, and present their case to the GNB. We're not here making a decision, we're simply saying, let's have the consultation.
All right, I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Councillor Blackmore, Councillor King, Councillor Barty, Councillor Reddy, and Councillor Chai. Against? Councillor Northworthy. I declare motion carried. All right. Now we go back to 8.2.
Just a point of order, Mr. Mayor. Do we go back to 10.2, or do we have to vote on opening?
Could you resume the...
Okay, thank you.
Do we want to adjourn to
Thank you.
Let's just keep...
Councillors.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll adjourn a minute for them to leave. Councillors, can I have a seconder for this motion? Councillor Reddy?
Here.
Councillors, would you now like to speak for the motion?
I would.
Can I open?
Councillor Barty?
Go. The mover, I think, has priority.
Sandy.
Councillor Reddy.
Councillor Reddy, Deputy Mayor.
I wanted.
Councillor, I move the motion as read. This is about looking into, I believe there is work in the past on this, about Corrali Avenue, potential land acquisitions, possibility where we stand. on this one, what position we're in relation to our contributions plans. I think it's good that we get a report back. The fact that, I think everyone's seeing what's happening in the world and the interest rates and the property market in general. I think things like this that are in our plan and have been there for a long time for potential acquisitions of land, it's probably an appropriate time to start acting on this if there are good financial opportunities for council. So I'd like to see what the report comes back with, and I hope you support it. They need it in this area.
Yes, Councillor
I'll just move an amendment, Mr. Mayor. I'm very supportive of that. I think it's a great idea. I would also just suggest that we look to do it on the north side of Parramatta Road as well, where we anticipate heavy density to come. I think now is the right time. There was a property that sold there for under $2 million recently. In a few years' time, there's probably going to be, or there's the potential to be high-rise or development in line with the Todd. We don't want to be saying we wish we did by that point. So just in the context of the Todd, I think we should also look at a space north of Parramatta Road. I think it's really evident if you look around the southern side of Strathfield that there are plenty of sites, small parks, places like Pilgrim Park, where we see pockets of land that were clearly once bought by council that used to be residential. Augustus Reserve on Loftus Lane is an example that was done only a few years ago by Mayor Sulos. So I think this is the right time to be doing it, as Councillor Blackmore said. I just think we should expand where we're looking, because as the Todd occurs and as we have growth occurring, we should be snapping up opportunities where we can. So I'm supportive. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Blackmore, do you accept the amendment?
Is there an amendment?
Yeah, you added north
Side of Parramatta Road?
He's highlighted it.
Green space, perfect.
I'm happy with that as long as it's...
Okay, councillors, if no other debate, I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. I declare motion carried unanimously. We go to 10.3 by Councillor Northworthy. Are you going to?
Yeah, just quickly.
Are you going to move the motion?
Oh, we'll try, yeah.
No, I'll second it.
Second. Thank you. Councillor.
Because I move it no matter what, but I think it's...
Lovely. Thank you. Are you going to speak for your
Yeah.
motion?
I think that area, so I'm explaining what it says. That area is great for young families. I have a young family myself. It's away from the road, it's protected, there's footpaths for kids to run around on. I think the only thing it's lacking is something kind of hands-on. And obviously there's a bit of a big divide with the driving range in the middle. So it's something I think we should consider to improve that area, make it the go-to cafe in our area for parents. And I think, the young families of Strathfield will thank us if we can find the means to achieve this.
Okay, Councillor Barty.
If I could add, look, I'm extremely supportive of it. I was saying this to someone the other day. That area would be complete once the playground goes in. It's a perfect spot. It's near the dog park. It's on a popular walking route. It's an excellent place to do it. The only thing is that we are master planning, not specifically that precinct, but Hudson Park on the other side. I think this could find its way into that master plan more neatly, particularly if something else that was lacking was included in this, which is better parking facilities. I think it's a very awkward place to go to a cafe if you're not on a walk or if you're not taking the dog to the dog park. There's plenty of room for some sort of parking inlet into the park. At the moment, you have to park on Mitchell Street and walk in. The only council car park available is the one down at the driving range. I think if we were to incorporate this somehow into the master plan, talk about a car park, talk about a playground, it would be even more family friendly and accessible. So I am supportive. I'm going to vote against it because I do want it to be incorporated instead into the master plan somehow through potentially a future NOM, which I'm happy to work with Councillor Nosworthy on. We can amend it to say that now, yeah. So why don't we amend it, if we can, to say that council incorporate into the Hudson Park West Master Plan, I believe, through the Mayor. Is that called? Master Plan.
Hudson Park or Hudson
And
Park?
then maybe a dot point just before the word a, so it's a report on options for. And then a second dot point, a car park connecting Mitchell Street to that precinct. Is it Mitchell Street or road?
Yeah, it's a
Street. Yeah. I'm happy with that, if that.
Yeah, I accept that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, councillors. If there is no other debate, I would like to put this motion to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Councillor Putmore?
No, he doesn't go.
So Councillor Noteworthy, Councillor Kim, Councillor Barty, Councillor Reddy, and Councillor Chai. Against?
Against me.
Councillor Bradmore, I declare motion carried.
I'm gonna go $8 million.
Okay, 10.4,
To buy industrial property.
no, 5. 10.5.
Just a quick point of order, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if Councillor Kim actually voted in that.
No,
so.
I did already.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. Just wanted to make sure.
Sure, yeah. I lift up hand already.
We've been in trouble before.
Okay, now, councillors, 10.5. Are you going to move your motion?
I'll second it.
Seconder,
Yeah.
Councillor Reddy.
Just a procedural point of order, Mr. Mayor. You don't need to ask for a nom to be moved. It's already, the inference is that it's been moved by the person who submitted the nom.
All right, thank you. Thank you, councillor. Are you going to speak for your
I
motion?
will. Right now, okay.
Yeah.
I'm clearly, of course, in support of this. The reason I put this nom up, in my experience when I was the mayor, and certainly from all reports from our mayor, the office is not supported in certain ways that we do see other mayors supported. Certainly there is a lot of support from staff to have the mayoral role done and done well, but I do think there is room for improvement. I think there is no one way that can be achieved, but I've provided some guidance as to what council could look at as an expansion of support for the mayor. I think when we look to some of our neighbouring councils, some of whom are much, much larger and so are not comparable, we do see significant support there. But just the size of the council doesn't necessarily dictate the activities of the mayor. Certainly the mayor is someone who could have their role spread across every single day of the week, and in some cases it could be a lot significantly abbreviated from that. Nonetheless, more support is better. It doesn't need to be formally an office of the mayor like you see in places like Liverpool, but certainly some level of better resourcing could go a really long way in helping the mayor fulfil their role better, particularly as we see the community grow and grow so rapidly. So anyway.
Thank you, councillor. Debate. Councillor Noteworthy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess I'm always a bit reticent in our current belt tightening, reducing budgets in other places to support more spending. Also, the issues I've heard about the Mayor's office aren't really related to support. It's mostly been kind of responsiveness, which I'm not sure this would achieve. From where I'm sitting, obviously I've never been a mayor, as the other three gentlemen here have or are. But yeah, from the other council's perspective, they seem to have a number of resources not accessible by the councillors, and so it would surprise me to hear that a mayor would require more resources.
Thank you, councillor. Any other? Yeah, councillor Reddy.
To the chair, I've seen 4 mayors and I've seen 4 mayors and 4 GMs, temporary and permanent, and I did see the support needed for the mayor. While Councillor Blackmore was the mayor, I was going around with him, and I've realised that the mayor needs to be supported by the council staff.
You've got 2.
Yeah, so I'll be supporting this and definitely will be looking for the options. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. Okay, now I now put a motion to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
One last comment before we go to the vote, just closing remarks. I do think point B is very important, just in relation to what Councillor Nosworthy said, which is consideration of adjustments to councillor expenses. I'm not saying we want councillors to have more resources. In fact, I'm saying we might be able to fund better support for the mayor through a reduction in council expenses, just to clarify. So whatever the staff come back with, I'm just trying to provide some guidance there, but noted. Thank you.
Is that just a comment, councillor? Because I did have a small amendment.
Thank you, councillors.
We'll see what they come back with.
Councillor King.
Through Chair, before I became a councillor, I was a representative of a not-for-profit organization, and I have a good relationship with many councils, and I have visited several councils, like Burwood and Kent Basin councils. All the mayors is representative of our community, and very busy, tight schedule. And if we don't have to support mayor cannot do anything. But all other councils, I don't know how much they pay for it, but they have very separate room and separate secretary, very high ranking, the ranking figure of the councils, right? So our council, I don't know how much budget we have it, but we really need to support the mayor as separately the staff. For temporary, part-time, or whatever we can make it, we need some support for mayor. It is best way, or other councils too.
Thank you, councillors. Okay, I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Councillor King, Councillor Bardi, Councillor Reddy, and Councillor Chai. Against? Councillor Bradmore, Councillor Nosworthy. I declare the motion carried.
Unit 10.7.
Okay, now we go to 10.7. Because the got a conflict of interest as I'm leading the zone of observation, the deputy chair to chair this item.
Councillors, now we are moving to agenda item 10.7.
I'll second it.
I'll move it and move by Reddy.
So, Madam Chair, just point of order. 10.7 is my notice of motion, so I, as per my point earlier, it's something I would like to move.
Okay, moved by Bellardi, seconded by
Thank you very much.
Blackmore. Anybody wants to speak for, against? Okay, Councillor Bellardi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Look, this is something I'm very passionate about. When people talk about Strathfield and they ponder on why it does have the sort of character it has, the history it has, the sort of affluence at times, or the unique character it has, why housing prices put us in the top, well, number 11 in Australia last year, they always sort of question why. What's so special about Strathfield? Is it its elite local schools? Is it the size of the blocks where tennis courts and pools are abundant? Is it local food culture? Is it proximity to the CBD and arterial road links? What is it that makes Strathfield what it is? And the truth is, of course, it's a little bit of everything. The problem is when you start to lose little bits of that everything in small ways, left, right, and centre, you start to decay what does make Strathfield so good. And that's true particularly here in the context of heritage, which is why I've put this motion forward. And I'm very proud to move the motion, having put a lot of work into what we could do better in terms of local heritage and protecting it. So in many reports, we often get told by staff, well, that's sort of a nice idea, but that's not what's done in other councils or comparable councils. And in fact, we see that in a report today about underground parking. But The issue is we're not like other councils, we are different, and so trying to mimic them in some cases doesn't work. We can always do better, of course, and in doing so maintain what makes us so good. So, whilst I acknowledge that the recently exhibited alteration to the DCP, which incorporated the classifications for heritage dwellings, was a step in the right direction, the issue I have with that, although it's not the topic of discussion right now, the issue I have with it is that it lacked sort of understanding of local heritage in some cases, with I think what a lot would agree are misclassifications, right? So there is issue there that we do need to deal with. But in simple ways, for example, such as taking a step in the right direction there, I think we've taken a step in the right direction, but it's been a misdirection. So that's where we're losing local heritage. Your assumption would be, based on what we've just exhibited, that Strathfield is taking heritage more seriously now. And that because of the classifications, we're going to see, just to clarify, those classifications are intrusive, neutral, or contributory. The concept being, I would imagine, that new alterations or new dwellings in those zones would of course have to be at the very least neutral or to some degree contributory. But we've just seen a property, and I have an exhibit of it, on across the road from here on this very street, a property approved in a heritage conservation area. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily considered heritage to anyone, but certainly it's not a heritage dwelling, nor do I think it would be contributory, or even it would struggle to be neutral. So it's examples like those where I think we're falling short, where we're seeing approvals occur in HCAs that are meant to be protected. At the very least, the facade should look somewhat in line or in character with our local, the character of that precinct. It's those sorts of things we need to protect. And so, okay, how do we do that? Well, we need to do better at surveilling what we do want to protect and what ought to be protected. We also need to expand what's protected. So anyway, to conclude, this motion, in summary, seeks to ensure that we tighten heritage protections, enforce them better through resourced surveillance, expand what we consider heritage by adding new dwellings consistently, and embed a clear and locally defined design standard for future development in Strathfield. To give you an example, there was actually quite a famous house built over 100 years ago in Homebush on Meredith Street that looked like this, right? So an old house, over 100 years old, and a few years ago it was knocked down and replaced by some sort of modern monstrosity. And the reality is we're seeing that happen left, right and centre. So we needed to work more closely with the community, and this motion seeks to create a committee through which that will be possible. Work closely with the community to list homes that should be protected, list sites that should be protected. The Enfield Memorial at the Coronation Parade intersection has a 100-year-old machine gun or cannon that's not listed. It could disappear tomorrow. They're totally inconsequential if it was destroyed. So, in summary, we're seeking to protect heritage through more mechanisms that empower council to do so. Thank you.
Councillor Nosworthy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I don't oppose your any of the kind of content. I think it's more the process I have an issue with. Part P of our DCP, the heritage section, was approved by this council not 6 months ago. There was no debate. It was passed by exception. Consultation on that closed about 3 months ago. So I just think the timing's a bit off. We had a chance to have our voice, and it would have been probably better use of resources to have that say then. Maybe even delay it till now or till December, whatever it may have been, and have that conversation. It seems like we put it out to consultation. I guess we'll see what that looks like, hopefully next council meeting, and then we'll probably have to go back and start again. So I just think perhaps bringing this up in September would have been more efficient of our staff time, of the spending that entails. I'm happy to support the content of the motion. I wish the timing and the planning was a little bit better.
Can I ask things about...
Councillor Blackmore.
I know, I was just I'm happy for Councillor Kim's.
Councillor Kim.
Simple question about this.
Yes.
Through the Madam, can I ask you, Councillor Baladi, did you get this photo from the HCA heritage conservation area?
Which one? This one?
You show the other one.
Yes.
You got it? From the HA conservation area, they built this one?
That's been approved in a conservation area.
They
Yes.
approved it.
Yes, yes.
So under current law and regulations, the building, like no heritage phase, can be approved under our current regulation. The approved heritage in the heritage area, the building like this, can be approved.
You can,
Well, clearly.
it has been.
Yeah.
Really approved? Can be?
Can be a new dwelling with conservation, sorry, but
Yeah, in a conservation area, you are talking about heritage, you want to keep the heritage, right? And you are talking about this is a modern phase, and it is approved. So under current law and our regulation, it can be approved.
Thank you, Councillor Kim. I would like the staff to give us some.
So the rules generally say, councillor, that it doesn't have to be a mimic of what's already there, but it has to take on the characteristics that are prevalent in that area. It's a little bit open to interpretation sometimes. Usually we'd like to see things that take on most of the characteristics of the area. Some architects will take on the minimal, and sometimes that is not the best result. Does that answer the question?
Councillor Kim,
I guess
does
the answer
that
is yes.
answer your question?
Yeah.
Councillor Nosworthy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I saw in the news today the state government is also putting in some supports on the heritage front to try and avoid, demolition by just leaving it fall apart. What's the word?
demolition by derelict.
Yeah, demolition by derelict. Thank you, Councillor Blackmore. So yeah, I think our state and local governments work in the same direction, trying to protect our heritage buildings and making sure that the owners do invest in maintaining those. So hopefully, all together, we can improve the situation across Strathfield and statewide.
Thank you. Councillor Blackmore.
Yes. Yeah, look, I'll be supporting this. I think just on Councillor Nosworthy's point, Councillor Bellardi hasn't put any real deadlines or anything on this, so I think it can be done in conjunction with the DCP that's coming back. That's important. I think it is important that we protect our heritage, and I know that some councillors don't support heritage, and basically if we did knock down our heritage properties, we'll probably look like Canterbury Bankstown Council or Liverpool Council or something like that, which isn't necessarily what we want. So I'll be supporting it. I think the thing is there is a lot of work that we need to do on our heritage, and I think the issue that Councillor Bellardi raises about actually monitoring it is if we do put these classifications on our heritage and our conservation properties, we haven't reviewed our heritage stuff for probably over 20 years. So 20 years a lot can happen. So how something could be intrusive and then someone spends money and renovates it, it's still classified as intrusive because we're not monitoring it and we're not updating it on a regular basis, and I don't believe that no one ever will actually update it. There are some properties, different note, but there are some properties I know on our heritage register which probably shouldn't be on there, and there's probably some houses in the area that probably should be on there. So there's more work to do in general on this. I think we do need a big focus on this on our area. I'll give just another example. When you drive down the boulevard and you go down into Strathfield, we have a heritage listed shop, Kiri's Corner, on the entry to the boulevard of Strathfield, and they've done all non-compliant works according to what I've been advised from staff. In the past, there was works done without approvals, and it's actually, when you actually drive down into the town centre, it's a massive burden on the community. If we actually had some stronger controls or actually enforced our controls, there'd be a much nicer and much better planning outcome, and it actually lift the whole area for all of our homes and businesses. So I'll be supporting it. Thank you for the motion. Councillor Bellardi.
Councillor Bellardi.
Just some closing remarks, Madam Chair. Look, just in relation to what Councillor Nosworthy said, better late than never, right? Yes, we didn't visit it in September when the DCP was being altered, but ultimately we're doing the right thing when we are doing it. And so I think, yes, certainly at the time, I became very interested in what was going on, had a few objections, but upon further reading, realised, too little too late, but not quite too late, so we can still get better support done and do all these things that will ensure we are protecting things into the future. And I also, just on what Councillor Blackmore said, I agree. I think in terms of surveillance, in terms of monitoring what's going on, we need to do a much better job. I mean, a clear example that, I won't shy away from, I'm a regular attendee at the Butcher in Homebush. I think they're great new business owners there, but that butcher's part of a HCA, essentially their non-compliance was inconsequential, and no one knows why, right? And so I think we need to do much better at ensuring we do the right thing there. So they're great guys. I have nothing against the butcher, but it's a 108-year-old shop that's been torn apart, and sort of, essentially what we've said is that's okay. So yeah, I think we need to do better at that, and this hopefully will support council in achieving that.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Bellardi. Before I put the motion to the vote, I would like to say my comments. I won't be supporting it. I don't want somebody, I've been approached by people. They don't want the council to just walk in and declare their homes as heritage.
They're not doing this, Councillor.
That's what Councillor Bellardi expects to do.
It is not.
No cross-talking,
Councillor
Councillor
Reddy,
Blackmore.
you're wrong.
Councillor Blackmore.
I'm sorry.
Councillor Blackmore.
I withdraw the comment, but you are wrong. So, read the
What
motion.
Councillor Bellardi has said is to identify more properties which are eligible to be in the list of heritage. So there are people who won't be happy with it, so I'll be supporting them, and I will be against it. And now I put the motion to the vote. Sorry, Councillor Bellardi, I have given you have just closed your remarks, and you have spoken more than enough. Now I put the motion to the vote. There is no point of order.
I dissent against your...
What is your point of order?
You have not made a ruling.
What is a point of
My
order?
point of order is that the mover of the motion is entitled to a right of reply. I have not been given a right of reply.
You have closed your remarks. You've already given your...
It's the final statement is actually what's allowed.
Okay.
Okay, well, my closing remarks is that I totally disagree with the comments you've just made. I think I've not at any point said that we're going to rock up to people's houses and say, you're heritage now. I think there are plenty of cases where we don't have protected dwellings that are, in some cases, in many cases, over 100 years old. I think we ought to do better to protect those dwellings by at least considering the creation of new HCAs. That's not super contentious. And part of the point here is to increase the guidelines within the DCP to ensure that we are providing better guidance as to what is allowed and not allowed. And by clearer guidelines, we won't be scaring people away from good local outcomes when it comes to protecting heritage, where they can have their way, invest in the purchase or the renovation of a beautiful old dwelling, but with clear guidance as to what that looks like. It's not going to be the most frightful thing in the world. Anyway.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bellardi. Now I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hands. Councillor Blackmore, Councillor Nosworthy, Councillor Kim, and Councillor Bellardi. All against, Councillor Reddy. I declare the motion carried. Let the mayor be in.
Sorry, just confirming, Madam Deputy Mayor, was Councillor Reddy against?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you. Which one?
10.8.
Okay, now we are going to time.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, before we do, I think I have to remove myself from the meeting. My employer's asked for such matters that I have a non-procuring non-significant interest, but I've been asked to leave the meeting for such matters, so excuse me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 10.8. Can I have a seconder for this motion? Seconder, yeah. Are you going to second? Even though I will second this motion anyway. Okay, councillors, would you like now to speak for the motion?
Sorry.
Councillor Brenmore?
Yeah, well, look, basically, I think, council, of course, just had a consultation. We're seeing its adoption later tonight, hopefully. And I think this is in line with that. We're just seeking to ensure that as we plan ahead in Airy Park, we already have development occurring there, but we look at modern and sort of more exciting ways to, have better vibes, if you will, at the park. There's plenty of unutilized or poorly utilized space. The old Bowls Club, for example, that's there has been shut for many years, and it's not really that well utilized. You generally find kids out there smoking behind the old houses or something like that. So I think better use of those spaces by more formal recreational activities is a good thing. So that's sort of why I'm putting this forward tonight.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other debate for this motion? If not,
Sorry, I had one question, just.
question. Okay, Councillor Bremo.
Yeah, I know, I'm not opposed to what Councillor Bellardi is suggesting, but just through the chair, is this sort of consistent with the consultation that we've received? Have we had
Councillor, can I?
Through the chair, I'll have to take that on notice. We are in the process of developing a master plan, but it's very much early days.
Thank you. Okay, councillors, now put motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. I declare motion carried unanimously. We go into 10.9. Thank you. Welcome back, councillor.
I'll second 10.9, Councillor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Bremo. Thank you, Councillor Bellardi. Are you going to speak for your motion?
I will, but first I'll move an amendment that I handed in earlier, which reads that council improve accessibility and local businesses through the reintroduction of short-term free parking in Homebush Village and Homebush West. Implement a 2-hour free parking period at the west side of Homebush Village car park, effective immediately, impacting around 18 spots. And maintain a 4-hour paid parking period on the east side of Homebush Village car park. And then C, I handed in but don't have a copy myself, which achieves to do the same thing more or less at Homebush West Village. Homebush West car park, sorry. Essentially, I think it's very important for council or council to admit when they've done something wrong. I think we probably never should have supported this, the introduction of meters in the first place. We really try to work with what could be a good compromise, and I think the compromise was by abbreviating the rather broad plan into just the car parks. And I think even that compromise is still a step too far for the majority of the community. Can you imagine what would have happened if we rolled them out everywhere? I think very few of us would still be around. And so I think this is the step in the right direction. And I, commend my fellow councillors to be as apologetic as I have been to residents. I also think, just one last point, there is a really important point on the Homebush car park, which I think it's technically unlawful for us to charge, because the original, and I won't sort of contest that necessarily, but because the original sale of the land came with a caveat that it would provide free parking to the community. Now, arguably, our parking permits program for residents could seem to achieve that, but it could be contested in the court. I'm just saying. So, anyway, nonetheless, this is, I think, a further compromise, but it's again a situation of maybe acting a little bit too late, but nonetheless, better late than never. So, anyway, thanks, councillors.
I'm just waiting to see the amendment up there before I accept it.
Do you accept it?
I haven't, it's not up there yet, so.
I think that's now.
I have a question too.
In a minute.
Just to quickly finish off, if I can, just a minute, whilst people are still reading it. The point of the A and B is to achieve, on one end, where there are more spots available, there's almost 20 spots, I think it's 18, 19, it's sort of hard to see, that there are plenty of spots available for community members to park, but by having a 4P on the other side, which is about, I think it's almost 10 spots, you can provide people with longer term parking at a cost. So that's sort of why we're doing that. So the idea being that, you know, the businesses often complain, and we've spoken about it here before, that there are few places that staff can park all day and that kind of thing. So this provides sort of longer term parking at a cost with 2-hour free parking for everyone else.
Can I just ask a question for clarification?
Second.
So, sorry. So can I just confirm through the chair to Bellardi, Councillor Bellardi? So basically what you're suggesting is western side of the car park, so we still have meters there?
Yeah.
It's 2 hours.
4 hours.
What says there, west side, and east side it says 4 hours.
Oh, sorry.
Is that correct? Or is
West
that-
side.
So 2 hours for free on the western side, and then on the eastern side, 4 hours at a cost with meters. So the meters, so each spot would have to be, or the two sides would have to be very clearly, I'll stand to say this, the two sides have to be very clearly signposted saying, much like Burwood has in their early bird car ports, you know, certain spots, and by having it on one side and the other where it's a clear divide, it can be achieved rather simply, I think. These spots are the 4p, these spots are the 2p, but the 2p is 2 hours free, the 4-hour spots are paid. Anyway, it sounds confusing, it's rather simple, I promise.
Thank you, Councillor.
I have just a few questions. It's a very basic one. Which side is the east side? The ones behind the shops is the east side?
Correct.
That's where east is.
That's, I don't know. Okay. What if a resident has a 2-hour parking limit, which he's legally eligible? So he parks 2 hours, and then again, is he eligible to pay for 4 hours? So that way, can he have 6 hours? Is that what the...
Yeah, let's take a look.
I think, to answer the question, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think my understanding would be that if you're a resident with a 2p, the parking permit scheme, you could park in the 4p and achieve your 2 hours. So you could get your 2 hours free in the 4p if you wanted to. But I would say that that's the extent of it. If you wanted to get, it would be impossible to achieve 6 hours. A normal person, including a resident, could go into the 2p and get free 2 hours, then drive into the 4p and get 4, but they'd have to pay for the 4.
Okay, so it is possible to have 6 hours?
But you're paying for it,
Yeah,
yes.
which is good.
Got a question?
Oh, yeah, I'll probably, I'm going to withdraw as the seconder on that, and I'll put a foreshadow up.
Yeah, I think
I think foreshadows aren't allowed anymore.
I don't know.
No more foreshadow.
Who knows?
No more foreshadow.
I think it's an amendment.
Okay. Well, can I put an amendment basically? Yes. Just in the amendment is basically the exact thing, replacing basically 2 hours. All the 4s with 2. That is just 2 hours across the whole car park. I think this is going to, if you're having 4 hours there, that's only to provide parking for business employees or workers to park, rather than actually providing parking for people shopping.
Councillor Bellardi, what you mean is the east side or the inside the
What I'll do is I'll make everyone happy and sack the 4 hours, alright? So we can just go to 2 hours for the whole car park, if that's what the councillors...
inside the car park, not the street parking.
Just inside the car park. If that's what councillors are seeking to achieve, and that's what there's support for.
Happy to 4. You have 4.
I think this system does work. I think having 4 hours on one side and 2 on the other does work. If councillors are supportive, then I'm happy to go ahead with it, but I'll need a new seconder.
I'll second it.
You seconding?
No, yeah, it's still, yeah. I've waited the right time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I think if we're confused, talking about it here, it's probably going to be confusing in reality. I agree with some of Councillor Bellardi's words. It's been a confusing implementation. It's been a bit of a farce. We put it in Homebush, then we gave Homebush West, and we gave a free hour. We're putting it in Homebush now, we're giving 2 hours free. I guess Homebush West might now beg the question why they can't get 2 hours free. Most of our parks have it, Strathfield Park doesn't. I just think councillors rushed into this, didn't really understand what they were voting for, and now, you know, over almost a year and a half, backtracked. At significant cost as well. These machines aren't free and they're going to be less utilised. I think I'd support Councillor Blackmore's amendment, but the whole parking thing has been a mess, and unfortunately it feels like councillors... Unfortunately, it seems like councillors supported something early in our term that they didn't really understand, and now we're paying the price for that, and it is a literal price. So it is a disappointing, ongoing problem.
Can I, excuse me, councillors, can I have a seconder for the amendment?
I'll second the
Councillor Kim,
amendment.
just put her hand up for the amendment.
No. I mean the seconder for the amendment.
Question.
I need a seconder for the amendment first.
Ask me,
Okay.
Councillor Reddy.
Is there a prize?
Yes.
Isn't the amendment by,
No, amendment is not this one. That's what Matthew Blackmore and...
Oh,
isn't it your?
Can I ask?
No. Hang on a second. Okay, Sandy, you sure you are going to second it?
Yeah, I've already did it.
Okay.
Can I retract?
Hmm?
Is it legal to retract? Like,
Can I ask the...
yeah, I'll retract, sorry.
Okay. Can I have a seconder for the amendment?
No, can I ask question?
Before you deal with the seconder,
oh, okay.
I need a seconder for the
Seconder.
amendment. Okay, Councillor Northworthy. Okay,
You go.
firstly, I'm going to deal with the amendment. All those in favour, please put your hand up.
Councillor.
Councillor Kim has been asking to talk. Councillor Baladi.
just a point of order, Mr. Mayor. Just to clarify something. Right now, we are dealing with the amendment. We're not voting on the motion. We are questioning whether or not the amendment becomes the motion, and then if so, we can debate it. If not, and then we have to vote again. If not, we go back to the motion and we can continue debating it, councillors.
Okay, if not, I put the amendment to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand.
It's for 2 hours.
Mr. Councillor Blackmore, Councillor Northworthy, and the Councillor
That's why I want to ask questions.
Yeah,
Councillor Kim.
I didn't support anything.
Okay. So, no.
You have to vote for or against something.
If you don't vote, you're voting against.
That's why I want to talk.
Yeah, I know.
Just give all day parking. All day parking so the businesses make their money.
Councillor King, are you going to support the amendment or you don't?
Come
Yes
on,
or no?
Councillor Kim.
No, yes or no?
No, because my opinion is different. Can I not say?
Not yet.
No.
Before that, okay, we are going to deal with the amendment first, okay?
So, Mr. Mayor, Councillor Kim has said no. We now have to vote for
for the motion,
Against.
against the motion.
The amendment.
against the amendment.
Okay, those are, okay, now for those, against the motion, can you put your hand up? Councillor Kim, Councillor Brady, Councillor Reddy, and Councillor Chai, I declare the amendment lost.
No, ask her.
Okay.
Give her a chance to ask question.
Do you have the question for
Yeah,
them?
no, she was asking.
Does have a question.
Yes or no?
Yes.
What? Can
Okay.
Sorry, maybe I misunderstood. I'm sorry, through the chair. I feel the same as just before, where Councillor Nosworthy said that. Since I become a councillor, so many times parking time, parking machine, and here and there, you are changing all the time. So we have to, as councillor, we have to be very prudent and we have to consistent some policies. We have to, not because some residents say we need pre-parking, we have 1 hour pre-parking. Last time hospital driving range, we said money. We have limited parking. Now then 1 hour free parking, 2 hour free parking. Now come and this one. So I'm really honestly, we have to be more think about this motion should be withdrawn. We think about discuss more and we make more consistent parking policies. We need it. Every space, every shops and Homebush, Flemington, Strathfield, everywhere, we have to think about more careful. This is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, Councillor Barty?
As long as all the other councillors have spoken, can I have my round of applause? Okay. Just look, I would agree with Councillor Kim's sentiments. I agree, we got it wrong, and I think that's an important thing to start with. We go on for a long time as to why we got it wrong, but ultimately it's a decision that we made as councillors, some of us. And yes, we have, rather than having a consistent response to what we admittedly got wrong in the first place, we have it's been very piecemeal in trying to keep everyone happy or reverse what we did wrong in the first place. I agree with that. We should have, when we adjusted Homebush West, we should have adjusted Homebush. When we did that, we should have done the golf course. Unfortunately, we didn't. But again, I think the theme of this meeting is better late than never. So once again, I think this is something that, yes, it's come late, it's come in a piecemeal approach, but ultimately it's the right thing to do. Just in terms of the councillors who aren't happy with what we are doing. It's not, I think the 4P is not for businesses, it's for anyone who would like longer stay in the car park to achieve that. But if we're going to let you have the all-day parking approach or the 4-hour parking approach, it comes at a cost. So the idea is to encourage usage for longer periods and make a buck off it without the cost, if that's the concern, of having to remove the parking meter, because that's ultimately what we would end up having to do if we were to go with 2-hour free parking everywhere. It would be remove the parking meter. So we get to keep the parking meter there, it's just used for a different reason now in a small number of set reserved spaces for 4P parking, with the other spaces going to the rest of the community to use.
Thank you, Councillor Barty. Any other debate? Yes, Councillor Kim?
No, he already closed.
You got a question or?
Mr. Mayor, let us speak.
It's equal, Councillor.
Through the chair, and I heard him. When we have to decide things, we have to check carefully, monitoring. We need monitoring. For every village's shopping patterns and some parking patterns. So we need hire some monitor person at every villages, how they do. Then we can decide how many hours free parking. It is helping for business people and for the families. And so we have to think more professionally. Then we can decide this one, I think. That's my opinion.
Councillor Ready?
Sorry, you can close it later, Councillor Beladi. I do agree with what Councillor Kim has said. We need to decide, create no confusion, but there is something called improvement every day. You test, trial, and what suits you and your neighborhood and your residents, you improvise. You don't say, I've read a report somewhere and I'm going to implement on you, whether you like it or not. It's not going to happen. Councillor Beladi's motion comes with a lot of residents' feedback, which came to me as well. There are 2 hairdressers who will never be able to finish their work within 1 hour. So I think, and people are rushing to eat fast. So I would definitely supporting Councillor Beladi's motion.
Thank you, Councillor Reddy. Councillor Bramall.
Just a question through the chair.
Sorry.
Just with the wording there, and I'll question through the chair, and I know Director Kathy Edwards-Davis does a fantastic job and is very, very fast at doing things. But this motion says that effective immediately, that we're going to change the parking. So is it possible to do it effective immediately when we haven't signposted the car park and ordered the signs and things like that? Through the chair.
Thank you.
Through the chair, no, we couldn't do it immediately. We would obviously progress the resolution.
I'm happy to just amend and say as soon as is practicable or practical.
Yes, agree.
Thank you, councillors. Okay,
4 hour.
4 hour two.
Put it for vote.
I need a question.
okay.
If you have a 2 hour free parking and 4 hour paid, how can you calculate? Somebody put 2 hours free and they have to pay 4 hours.
The team can manage it.
You think about it. This is very difficult.
It's gonna come back.
Should be.
It's not coming back.
Oh, no. You have to think about carefully.
An issue.
Say 4 hour. Just then 2 hour free parking.
professionals.
Support this
An
one.
issue, we can change it again.
There are professionals sitting in this room, they will let them do their
One
job.
person 6 hours, 1 person 6 hour parking is dominant. It's very inconvenient.
Put it for vote.
Excuse me, councillors, it's not for chatting, okay? Now I put the motion to the vote.
Can all
those in...
Just a right of reply, Mr. Mayor.
You're gonna kill the business in Homebush West, Mr. Mayor.
Excuse me, councillors, okay? No more debating, okay? I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Councillor Baladi, Councillor Reddy, Councillor Chai,
And Councillor Nosworthy.
Councillor Northworthy. Against? Councillor Bramore, Councillor King. And declare the motion carried. Okay, now we go to the motion 10.13. I can second it. Are you going to speak for your motion?
Yeah, just quickly, Mr. Mayor. Honestly, I think the Minister of Local Government has heard this request a couple of times, but no harm in making a formal request through your office, Mr. Mayor. I wasn't allowed to in the end, but I think perhaps driving to LG New South Wales conference and the Australian Local Government conference is probably ill-advised under these conditions. So that's kind of what 2 is saying without being able to direct it. I will not be driving down to either of those events, and I would hope maybe other councils would reconsider their travel options, as I don't think it's a good look for the local government to be seen as essentially using petrol that maybe didn't need to be, especially LG New South Wales, I think, is in Wollongong. There's a train ride down there. So that's my view on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other debate for this one? Yeah, Councillor Brady?
Mr. Mayor, look, I think we can all do better to be greener in our personal lives, but certainly for council activities, I believe the Wollongong conference is next year, Canberra's not that exciting anyway, so any excuse not to go to Canberra is a good one, I would say. Whether or not we formalise this policy, I think is a bit something I would reject. I don't know if...
It doesn't specifically at this point.
It doesn't prevent councillors from attending the conference in Canberra, but certainly I think it discourages it. But we also don't know that by Canberra this will still be an issue. I think we made a very important, we had a very important discussion about our attendance at the convention when we last elected delegates, I believe, or was it after the fact? But nonetheless, I think it's very important for our voice to be heard on the national stage. I think we were one of the more vocal councils last year, if not the most vocal, unfortunately, at last year's conference. I think it is very good, and in particular, mingling with other councils from the rest of the country is very important. That's not something we can do over Zoom. And not just mingling with them, but also attending the trade show. There are plenty of really incredible things we can see on display as councillors that give us ideas for noms and discussions with staff that are presented. So I think it's a really important sort of organisation in that sense, and attending the trade show in particular and engaging in that national discussion on policy matters is vital, particularly in this context. I mean, what we're seeing is the price of petrol going up, and it's federal policies that are impacting that. It's the federal government that's sort of, in a sense, to blame, right? We can't always just point our fingers to what's happening on the other side of the world. And this is the one forum we as local government have to talk directly to federal government through policies that we debate and discuss. And the council's motion says we ought not to go because it's a little too expensive. And I think that it's, and that, okay, I understand there's other reasons, but my point is broadly that this is the opportunity for us to talk about the exact issues that the councillor is suggesting prevent us from going. So, look, I don't want to go on and on about this, but I'm totally non-supportive. I think we have much more pressing issues when it comes to petrol, particularly relating to, or diesel, I should say, relating to our trucks, and maybe 3 cars going down in potentially 6 months' time, I think, or a few more cars going down is not going to change the cost of, in the Strathfield context, councillor, 3 cars going down, 4 cars going down, isn't going to change the cost of diesel for our waste collection vehicles. So that's why I don't support this.
Thank you, Councillor. I just feel a little bit strange for the item 1 because refer to the subject of council response to potential fuel shortage, but why is going to use the audio visual? Any link with this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, if I didn't have to drive here today, I wouldn't have used fuel. So it is to support the reduction of use of fuel. If some of us stay at home each month, that would reduce overall fuel usage.
But you can use the bike. Our council is the smallest council in there.
Yeah, it's small.
Every corner only 3 kilometers. You can use the bike to be here. That's more environmental.
We can change it.
You want to delete this item?
No, that's fine. You can try and change it.
All right, councillors, I'll now put this motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Councillor Northworthy. Okay. All those against it? Councillor Bradmore, Councillor Kim, Councillor Brady, and Councillor Reddy. Councillor Chai. I declare motion was lost. Okay. Now we're going to speed up. Okay. Now we are going to CCS2. Can I have the mover for this motion? Councillor Reddy and Councillor Brady, the seconder. Councillors, would you now like to speak for the motion? Councillor Brady?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move an amendment, which is further considerations for the, to be considered in the report. If I can find them somewhere, bear with me. Yes. Okay, I've handed these in. I hope they're going to be reflected on the screen. Thank you. The first is to ensure the budget reflects a 2-year freeze on fees and charges impacting local businesses and community sporting organisations. A, that council endorse a temporary freeze on all fees and charges impacting local businesses and community sporting organisations for a period of 2 years commencing from the 2027-28 financial year, so from next year for 2 years following. B, ensure that at a minimum the following categories incur no increase during this period. 1, higher fees for community sporting facilities, and 2, fees and charges applied to retail and local businesses. And C, note that any review of these fees is not to occur prior to the 2029-30 financial year, if possible. The second amendment, I'll just let the GM, yep. I'll just ask if that's possible through the chair.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can I just clarify, the amendment you're moving is adding to
Correct.
1, 2, 3 and 4?
Correct, yes.
So we can capture that correctly.
Oh, yes, sure. Thank you to the General Manager for that. Also, the amendment will just remove number 4. Okay, the second amendment, so the second addition, I should say, provide an additional green waste bin, council provide an additional green waste bin per household in a financially sustainable manner. A, allow for the first additional green waste bin per household across the Strathfield local government area to cost no more than $52 annually, which is $1 a week. increase the cost of additional yellow and red bins by up to 25% to somewhat offset the cost of cheaper additional green bins. And C, this will ensure the cost to council of this reduced cost to residents is offset. Is that there? Yeah. And then Amendment 3 is expand Strathfield's beautification program and public domain improvements to enhance local amenity and presentation. A, note the forthcoming report on the Strathfield beautification project. B, the budget includes the items in below, Part C, and this is to be fixed from the unallocated funding and for those works not to commence until the start of calendar year 2027 to enable more time for global affairs to stabilise council fuel costs. And C, I knew Councillor Nosler looked like that. C, progress additional beautification initiatives, including 1, delivery of murals and public art at key gateway locations, including the Raw Square Rail Underpass and Subway Lane Rail Underpass. 2, preparation of a beautifying major roads master plan, focused on increased tree planting along Parramatta Road and Liverpool Road. And 3, provision to councillors of current plant pallets and selections by mid-2026. Okay, now, why am I saying all this? So now I'm going to speak for the amendment. Look, in terms of the first amendment or addition, I think we could do a lot better to support local businesses. They've seen increases year after year after year on some of the fees and charges, and so have sporting groups, community sporting groups. This seeks to basically say, look, we are going at it again this financial year, but this is the last of it. We're making the commitment that yes, things have risen, but for 2 years there will be a freeze. That's particularly going to be helpful in the context of the inflationary environment in which we find ourselves. So it will go longer than, or it will go deeper than the 2 years sort of suggests in a time sense. In terms of the second amendment, this is something I care deeply about because the Second Amendment, yes, not firearms rights, but the Second Amendment to this motion. The issue here is that we have not been charging people for many years for additional green bins on their households. It's something we decided to do last financial year, or a policy we formalised last financial year. So plenty of people who have very large verges, who essentially do council's job for us, which is to clean the verge, to cut the grass, etc. They'll have an entire bin filled at the end of every fortnightly roster of the green bins. That's not even their own green waste, it's the council's. And so we are penalising them sort of very unjustly by charging them this additional amount. So the $1 a week amount, I think, is a more fair approach. It's the management of the bins, etc., with a cost being offset by the increase in the additional, not normal standard price, but the additional red and yellow bins that we do offer at a cost. It also encourages better management of green waste. So we're saying your first additional green bin is at $1 a week cost. So that's that Second Amendment. And the third one is, sorry?
I said prohibition.
The expansion of Strathfield's beautification program and domain improvements. Basically, it's expanding what we did in the Merrill Minute, I believe, 2 meetings ago, by giving some guidance as to what that could look like in the budget moving forward in the works program. So just to have it reflected in the next financial year, to say here are some of the things we could focus on. And in particular, there are some items there that we've discussed back and forth for quite some time, including the murals in places like the Raw Square underpass, or whatever we call that road now. And ensuring that places like Parramatta Road and Liverpool Road, we spoke about, passers-by, when you're going through Strathfield, you ought to know you're in Strathfield. You ought to see and feel that you're in a different place. And I think by beautifying our major roads, or the precincts where those roads cut through our municipality, we can achieve that by having them greener and leafier. So, and just that last point is also very important. We do see a lot of works happening right now, a lot of new garden beds. We see one coming later on as a response to a nom that I had put in Flemington. It's very important for council laws to understand what plants will actually be placed where they're going. Sometimes we see things that there's a saying that sort of, architects design houses for architects, not their, not the average person. There's something along those lines, I believe. And I think it's true in this case as well. I think we've got incredible landscape architects at council who do a great job greenifying our community. However, at times they put things in that they might think are beautiful that people complain to us and say, can you clean the weeds in the new garden bed? And we say, actually, no, that's meant to be a flower or something. So I think it's very important for council laws as community representatives to know what will be planted in the future. And I'll finish with a question, which is that I have come to understand we will be presented with something along those lines rather soon. So I'll ask that question to the relevant director through the chair. Thank you.
Through the chair, yes, the intent is to develop a street tree master plan. So we have engaged a consultant to prepare that. That will look at things like tree species and tree locations. That will go on public exhibition, and it will certainly come to council as well for consideration.
Councillor Northworthy?
Yeah, feels like a bit of a Trump omnibus amendment, if amendment at all. I guess the first one I feel like is a bit of a reflection of a past decision. A lot of rates were foisted onto the businesses in place of the residents, and now we're freezing their fees. I'm not sure what's happening to their rates, but I guess that's not included in there. Amendment 5, or 0.5 as it is on the screen. I feel like we've had a lot of back and forth about the bins, and we came to a conclusion, and now we're changing it, as the operational plan's going to be authorised. Number 6, I think I'm okay with. I think I can agree with number 6. I feel like we're probably going to disagree about the plant situation, but we can cross that bridge when we get that information. Obviously, under the bridge, mostly, If I go back up to 2, I think it is, I had a bit of a question before all the amendments came through. There was a mention, I think, in the report about the road reprioritisation. I just want to check whether it has been reprioritised, or if the existing council council staff recommendation is currently in place in this plan. Through the chair to the director.
Thank you, Councillor.
Through you, Mr Mayor. So the paper references the council officer's recommendation at this point in time. And then in the body of the report, you'll see some further information around what it might look like to change that for your reference and further discussion.
So it hasn't been changed?
To clarify, it hasn't been changed, meaning it's the original staff recommendation rather than the council resolution.
That's right. So that what's been put into the budget at the moment is the original staff recommendation. The councillors would have to agree on changing that in the premise provided in the paper.
Okay, Councillor Reddy, do you accept the amendment? All right, Councillor Brennan.
A couple of things. Can you just scroll down the amendment, please? Yep, there. First, one of the points is just a question through the chair. With the waste levy, my understanding is that waste levy by law, we've been through this in the past in Stratford Council, has to be full cost recovery. The amount that we collect has to be full cost recovery of the operation. So my question is to the director about how will that impact that. My other question is just through the chair, and just confirming, Councillor Bellardi, that you're saying we're not going to give them a saving now, this year. They're going to get it next year. Why?
It begins next year, the freeze.
So that's the first question. So if I can get an answer just about the waste levy is a bit really important.
I think it's up to the mayor.
Through the chair, in relation to the protection around green waste bins, we would have to do the analysis to determine what the impact would be. Councillor Blackmore is correct, it does have to be fully recovered through the waste levy. So we would have to do that analysis as to the impact of a $52 charge and therefore what we would have to charge for the red and yellow bins.
Yeah. And then, just in relation to the second question, remind me what the second question was? There was I'll do it now. Look, the reason being that I don't want to be that disruptive to the budget moving forward, but it gives the staff the ability to have a year to prepare for those freezes to come in. They're not something we've discussed up until this late stage, but in planning the budget from now, we can say in a year's time at the next budget, we're anticipating these particular changes, which will be on the cards and known by staff. And so we give that time for preparation for the budget in the future. So it's the right time to be doing it for next year. I think it's the wrong time to be doing it for this budget. It's too early in my opinion, too late in my opinion.
Thank you, Councillor Bramall.
Yeah. I'd like to amend the motion actually. I do think it's fair that, the Mayor of the Day gets acknowledgement for things getting passed through Council. I think it's a little bit clever, maybe a little bit strategic, to put the savings next year when there's a different mayor. So I probably just want to make an amendment. The motion exactly the same, but in point 4. Point 4 to say freeze commencing 26-27 financial year, and that note any review of this is not to occur prior to the 28-29 financial year on the bottom point. Yeah, that's my amendment. I do think if we are going to give a freeze, it's something that we can celebrate and we can let the Mayor of the Day go out there to the public and say we're supporting the community and we're giving you this freeze right now.
I'm supportive of the amendment insofar as we can have a response from staff that is sort of in line with that. I don't know who necessarily to ask, but through the chair, if I could ask, is this appropriate at this late stage, and what would the implications be?
Through Mr. Mayor, we'd have to go back and assess the financial implication of the budget. As we mentioned, everything in the budget has been accounted for, so this would just mean reforecasting our income for 26-27.
Thank you.
In which case, I'm not supportive of the amendment.
Okay.
Okay, so we go back again.
All right. Okay, now, okay, I need a seconder for the amendment, amended by Councillor Bramall. Are you going to second for that? No. Okay, I need a seconder for Councillor Bramall's amendment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, seconded but not worthy.
I thought you would have seconded it.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I thought you would have seconded it.
Okay, now I put the amendment for the vote. All those in favour, please put your...
Amendment is the freeze for the community groups and those things start now.
Next year.
Just while we're on the amendment, sorry, apologies. Just very important, I just want to get clarity off the General Manager just before we move that. On item number 4, Mr. General Manager, B2, says fees and charges apply to retail and local businesses. Should that actually state excluding rates or something along those lines, just to make sure, because it just says fees and charges, so I would assume a rate is a charge.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. No, not necessarily, because rates are rates. It's an annual charge. It's not considered fees and charges, so rates are a levy, so it's considered differently. So, but you may put it in there for clarity.
All right, please move back the amendment.
That's the amendment. Yeah. So we're going to announce the freeze now, Mr. Mayor.
Community groups as well.
Move back the amendment.
One.
Could be. just a point of order, Mr. Mayor.
What's going on? Can I go to the toilet or?
I think we're meant to deal with the amendment. The amendment's been seconded. The amendment's been seconded. We have to vote on the accepting or rejecting the amendment, and then we go back to the motion.
Same, fee stays the same now, not next year.
No.
In the business, the fees don't go up this year. They stay the same this year, they don't go up. The other one, they go up this year and then not next year.
We wanted this year.
Okay, now,
So the amendment, sorry, just for clarity,
okay,
Councillor Kim, the amendment is for the,
I already explained to her, okay?
thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, councillors. Okay, now we come back to the Matthew Brammore's amendment supported by Councillor Northworthy. All those in favor, please put your hand up. Councillor Bramore, Councillor Northworthy. Against? Councillor King, Councillor Barty, Councillor Reddy, Councillor Chai. I declare the motion, the amendment lost. Now we come back to the motion.
Yeah. If I could just speak to the motion. Look, I think all councillors were supportive of things like the fee increases that will go ahead, or have been at least thus far this term of council. So I think it's unfair for some councillors to now try and say, oh, well, we were supportive of freezing yours this year rather than next. This is a well thought out policy that's also prudent and careful by being a year ahead of the budget. So we're seeking to ensure that in this budget we anticipate savings for businesses and residents next budget, and that we plan ahead well. We've all been totally supportive of those increases. We're just being careful for next year, so it's important.
Thank you. Okay, councillors, I think this one is a big move. We may not be able to have enough time for the budget to the state government. So I would like to adjourn the meeting for 10 minutes.
Yeah, send it to me now.
Thank you.
2 seconds.
Thank you, councillors. Welcome back.
No, 4 minutes, Mr. Mayor.
Quick 10 minutes.
Now I put the motion to the vote, or those
Sorry,
in
point
favor?
of order, Mr. Mayor. You adjourned the meeting for 10 minutes. It's only been 4 minutes.
Is that procedurally correct? Going to make a cup of tea?
We all vote to come early?
Can we?
Do we all?
Yeah. Let's vote early.
Okay, councillors, we need to decide whether we can come back early or not.
Yes.
All those support to come. You have something to say, or just put it?
Oh, yes, yeah. Are we agreed to come back?
Come back early.
Yes, I just have the amendment.
Minutes, yeah.
I just have the amendment as highlighted in yellow. It just includes the point, endorse the content of the draft operational plan, content and budget as amended by this resolution. So
You just made an amendment, is that correct?
the amendment is to amend the non-amended part of the motion to reflect that there are now amendments within it, councillors. So that's that, and if the seconder supports it, we can have a vote.
Thank you.
I have to vote.
Okay.
No, because it's
We
accepted.
should have voted to amend, just amend the double.
Okay.
We should really vote for that amendment.
Oh, we had to vote to come back.
No, that's incorrect.
Councillors,
You just amended it after you.
put it to vote.
You just changed the motion when we came back.
All right. All right, councillors, come back. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favor, please put your hand up. Councillor Bramore, Councillor King, Councillor Faradi, Councillor Reddy, and Councillor Chai. Against? Councillor Northworthy. I declare the motion carried.
Done.
Lovely. Okay, now we are going to PE1.
I'll move it.
I've seconded. Okay, are you going to speak for the motion?
For that amendment. I'll just do an amendment. from the last council meetings, councillors has raised concern for Strathfield Council being part of Cooks River Alliance. So I would like to make an amendment that council request Cooks River Alliance Executive Officer Andrew Thomas and Senior Engagement Officer Jason Lee to prepare a report to Strathfield Council and councillors explaining the impact of Cooks River. The points could be not limited to last 10 years update, future of Cooks River, financial implication to Strathfield Council in the future and currently. That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Reddy. Councillor Belmont.
Yeah, I've just got a little amendment that I'd like to add there. Just an additional point. So in the report, when you read the letter from Sydney Airport Corporation, it talks about funding to two councils, which is, I believe, Inner West and Bayside councils. Now, the way that a river works, my understanding, is that water flows, and it kind of starts here. So I would write to Sydney Airport Corporation requesting that they provide the same funding that they provide Bayside and Inner West councils to councils further up the stream.
Does that mean include Strathfield as well?
Of course, Strathfield. Yeah, Strathfield, I think Canterbury Bankstown.
Does Bowen have a touch of it?
Bowen might have a little bit, yeah.
All right, Councillor Franklin. You want to explain? Okay.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I might just help councillors just to explain why Bayside and Inner West, why that's been quoted. Because in a previous life I've had the pleasure of working on that agreement. That's actually not related specifically, what they're referencing is not funding related specifically to the Cooks River. It's actually related to ex gratia payments that both Inner West and Bayside Council received from the airport because of the impact of the airport in those local government areas. So whilst they may have expressed in the letter that it's a contribution for the river, it's a contribution to those councils in lieu of paying rates.
Okay, so we'll get rid of the
Rates? Or?
We don't have the airport directly in our local government
I'm
areas.
so happy to write to them and ask for funding.
right?
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I'm supportive of Councillor Reddy's amendment because whilst I'm extremely supportive of the Cooks River Alliance, I'm not necessarily sure exactly what work they do in terms of its impact over the long term. I think it's great that, I think they've done a great job at community engagement, at understanding what people want with the river, explaining to the community the impacts of the river and how communities can impact it. That's all well and good, but we are paying them $85,000 a year to be members of this sort of working group. That's not necessarily reaping rewards for our community and our residents. So I'd like to know how our money is being put to work. Is it just funding the work they do broadly? And what are the impacts of the work they are doing? I think those things could be clearer. We do get reports on the odd occasion from them, which is fair, but I think we should really consider where our money's going and whether or not it's worth maintaining membership of the organisation.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Kim.
All these opinions are good, I'm supporting. So, but to get more clear, I'd like to ask Andrew Thomas, who has been done for more than 10 years in charge, ask him, we invite him here for our council meeting, ask him to explain what is his future plan, his yearly plan and master plan, everything. So we can hear from him and a report plus ask him to our council.
Are you going to amend this one as well or no?
That's what it says.
Yeah.
just a clarification,
Ask him to
I
come.
believe it's Dr. Andrew Thomas, just for the...
Oh, yeah,
Come here.
yeah.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Northworthy.
Yeah, I believe we've met Dr. Andrew before. I think he briefed a workshop not that long ago. If I can call on my memory of some of the programs, there were some construction items, sadly not in our LGA, but on the riverfront, boat launch facilities, various kind of pollution remediation. So there is on-the-ground stuff they are supporting and designing and building. Perhaps we haven't directly seen the benefits of that as yet, but I guess I would encourage councillors to go back to that briefing. I was quickly trying to search for the slides, slightly unsuccessfully, but I'm sure we have them, and maybe save the good doctor the trip out, or maybe perhaps read that first, and then if we still have issues, then we can invite the good doctor. It does feel again like we've forgotten what we learned a year ago, and we're going to ask him the same questions, so maybe review our notes first before we call on his attendance.
Thank you. Councillor Barty.
Look, I think we're not actually asking Dr. Thomas to join us here at Strathfield, we're seeking a report from him, I believe, rather than
We are asking them to.
prepare a report to council. Are we specifically seeking that he attend Strathfield Council to
Oh, no,
present the report?
he sends a report to
Yeah.
us at least.
I think that's fine. I do think that we shouldn't be so scared of leaving the organisation. There are two neighbouring councils who have relinquished their membership. I believe it's Burwood and Inner West.
Review, isn't it? This council. We reviewed our memberships recently. We're asking for a report.
We are. So I'm not saying we do relinquish, but I think we shouldn't be so frightened of doing so, or delay, asking these questions. We're considering it at the moment, and I think if other councils are anything to go by, it seems like it's only a few upholding the organisation, and it would be a shame if the association lapsed because of our withdrawal, but it's not up to us to fund the projects they're doing, which the councillor mentioned are happening elsewhere. So, anyway.
Okay.
Just quickly, I'll just make a point as well. My experience I've been on the committee previously. There's very, very big focus on water quality, which I understand is important, but there's been a big push for decades in this area that residents want this river naturalised like it is further down the stream. It looks like a dump, people are going to treat it like it, so you're not going to get better water quality. It's very, very disappointing. I think that the state member, Jason Yatsen-Lee, I believe last election promised, and there's a commitment here from him and also from the Labor Council, I believe, made some commitments as well to do some of this work. Nothing's happened, and I think it's probably something that's going to be brought up coming into the state election.
Thank you, Councillor. Okay, if no other further debate, I put this motion to the vote. All those in favour, please put your hand up. Councillor Barrymore, Councillor King, Councillor Barty, Councillor Reddy, against? Councillor Northworthy, I declare motion carried. Okay, we go to PE2. Can I move on? It's seconded by Councillor Reddy. Thank you. Councillors, would you now like to speak for your motion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I'm supportive of the work that the staff have done to come up with this report. It's in response to a notice of motion I gave earlier this year. I think it's a really good outcome. I think ultimately we shouldn't be dictating to residents how they use their land. Obviously, we still need planning controls. I'm not saying we rid those altogether, but there are times where I think we go too far in regulating certain things. I think I'm yet to see why we are so hard on the regulations on this matter, and I'm really happy with the report because it does seek to find a nice compromise there and ensures that people can have good underground parking places, taking cars off the streets. I will say the report quotes, I think, numbers that are just totally unfair. It quotes numbers to say something like 80% of houses and dwellings in Strathfield don't have a second vehicle or something along those lines, or don't have a vehicle. I forget exactly what it says, but I think it's very important to distinguish between houses and apartments or units. I think those are two different things. 80% of Strathfield are units, so that number, if you just looked at the houses in the area, would come radically down, radically go up, if we were to exclude units, people living in units from those statistics. So I think that's a very fair and important point to make in this context, that we actually have quite a high number of people with more than 2 cars living locally. And as we are gifting everyone with new yellow lines as to where they can and can't park locally, we should also provide them with ample underground parking. And I think this is a good compromise we've come to.
Any councillors?
Just a question through the chair. Look, I am supportive of residents being allowed to have bigger basement areas for parking only. But my concern with this, and just to make sure we are able to do it in a way, and I'd like to ask just through the chair to the Director of Legal, if we make these amendments in our DCP, allow much bigger parking in these basements, can someone who's, say, illegally done basement work, who's made a bigger basement than what was legally allowed, can they retrospectively try to come back and get that approved?
Thank you. Councillor?
Through you, Mr. Chair, any development application received would be assessed on the basis of the standards in place at the time that the application was received.
Fantastic. Okay.
Councillor Northworthy?
Yeah, I've expressed concerns before. I think 10 is a lot. I think it's hard to monitor what they're being used for sometimes. I guess the range has to go in or the appropriate staff member, which once it's built might prove difficult. It's mentioned in the report that it's basically saying unlimited, right? 10 is going to be difficult to fit into most properties, so it's basically whatever you can fit, off you go. Happy days. Which is not ideal. I did a quick calculation for you because you brought this up last time, Councillor Blighty. So it looks like 35% of standalone dwellings have more than 3 cars. So this would only apply, and that's considering that's 3, not 10. We don't have stats for that, unfortunately. But again, I don't think the need is high enough to just go unlimited underground parking. Enjoy yourselves, everyone. So I won't.
Can I just ask the councillor through the chair why? Why does it matter?
Because as I mentioned at the start, it's difficult to potentially govern what they're using it for post-construction.
So is that the only concern?
That's the main concern.
It's the whole area, isn't it? It's not clear.
And also, just in response to what Councillor Nosworthy said, I think the statistic actually disproves, in a sense.
As long as we've got the facts.
Yeah, the facts are important. I think you've just said that over a third, more than a third, almost 40% of houses have more than 2 cars. That means every third, more than 3 cars. That means every third house on a street has 4 or more vehicles. That's a lot, particularly considering how many intersections and corners we have where parking isn't possible because of the grid pattern in our community. We know there is limited parking as it is. If every third house has 4 or more vehicles, that's a lot of off-street parking required. Add in a few visitors, and there you go. You're filling your garage of 10. As I've stated here, if it wasn't for my parents in their property locally having a relatively generous underground parking approved when it was 20 odd years ago, I've got 5 siblings. I've got 5 sisters. They have their families. They have partners. My parents live across from a bus stop. Parking is limited. If they didn't have the space they had underground, you couldn't have dinner with them on a Sunday with a family the size of ours. So I think it's not just circumstances like those, but circumstances like what the councillor's statistic shows, where every third house, most people have a neighbour who has 4 or more vehicles.
Okay, councillor, any other debate about this motion?
Question. Yeah. In case this when Councillor Nosworthy said some different use of a car park, so can I ask through the chair or your people? Can you monitor the illegal underground amenity building? Amenity, they said, can you monitor the irregular underground small amenity adding up. Because when they have approval, as a 10 car space underground, they have approved already. But after that, if they do irregularly amenity adding up, then self-storage room and this one, can you monitor it, all this house? Can you monitor that? How do you find it? Irregularly. No, the submitting DA, just.
Can you monitor the legal usage?
Do we have the legal
Can you monitor it?
into the premises to inspect?
Check what's happening underground.
I believe there's illegal works. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can't understand my English, I'm sorry.
I'll become the,
You understand?
I'm going to apply for the mayoral support job. Fourth
Councillor
year.
Later.
Fourth year. Mayoral support position, I'm taking it.
Excuse me, councillors. Okay,
Through you, Chair, there are powers under the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act to allow council officers to enter into premises where they have grounds to investigate. So that might be a circumstance where there's a report made to council and we have reasonable grounds to suspect that unlawful works have taken place. So, yes.
So maybe neighbors find and report to you.
So yes, in certain circumstances.
That's the only way we can find it. Last time.
Sorry, just to clarify, because I know there's been a bit on this in the past, Councillor Kim, but just through the chair, we have done a lot of work on this in recent years, and there are a number of examples. I don't know if you can explain that a little bit to Councillor Kim about the work that we've done with a number of those illegal basements where they've or maybe the planning.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. I'm not sure if that's a question from myself or the acting director of planning, but I am aware that there are cases recently where we have taken action through the compliance team, where we've been aware of unlawful development in terms of basements taking place.
You find it? You find it?
They have found cases, yeah. We've got one court matter.
Through the chair. So that can also come to council's attention through real estate advertisements and those sorts of things, councillor. And when that happens, council has taken enforcement action in the recent past, and there's quite a few of those that are live at the moment or that have just recently been completed. And where they're converted into living spaces, council can take action on it and have them either sealed up or converted back into what they're supposed to be used for. So underground spaces need to only be used for what they're designed for. Otherwise, they need to be provided with ventilation and light and those sorts of things.
Last time I have my neighbor, my friend, in Kingsland Avenue.
What's their name?
Because they have found it very strange, noisy every night. So I reported, asked Paul to check it, because it's private property, they cannot check it. You cannot check it. So did you solve this problem? In this case, how can you do? It's private property.
Strange.
Certainly there's a way to make a report to our compliance section for that to be investigated, councillor, but I'd encourage you just to do that in the ordinary course of business.
Follow up. Yes, they can do it. Just follow up.
That's my understanding is properties of 5 million to 10 million or 20 million going up, having a basement, giving it for rent, having a couple of people live in your basement for $300, I don't think it's structural character.
Situation. They all proposed.
Councillor Kim, it's my turn to. I don't think that's structural character. And just to clear off, if there is a untimely noise, there is only one number to call. It's 000. There is a restriction of noise restrictions which are applicable throughout Australia. So we can call 000 and check for the noise pollutions. And I'll be supporting this motion because I myself have 3 cars and we plan to buy another one for my younger one. But doesn't matter how much the car cost, but we can't leave our cars on the street because every house have more cars than what they have their parking.
We find damage.
Thank you, councillors. Okay.
We're worried about the ones, cinema, gym, smoking the Aggies downstairs.
Councillors, I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Councillor Bramble, Councillor King, Councillor Barati, Councillor Reddy, and Councillor Chan. And against? Councillor Northworthy. I declare motion carried. GE3, can I have the mover?
I'll move it.
Councillor Reddy, can I have a seconder for the motion?
PE3. No, PE3?
PE3.
PE3.
Cats.
I'll second it.
All right, anyone want to speak for the motion?
Didn't say much.
I just want to ask a question to whoever the relevant director is. We've gone back and forth on cats for a long time now. Will this solve the problem? And additionally, why does it cost $1,000 to get rid of each and every feline pest?
Pumas.
You know, I can assure you there'll be plenty of people willing to do it for less. Can we understand why there's $1,000? Is that just the going rate for removing a cat? And will this solve the issues that we've been having?
Thank you.
So that is one of the questions we hope will be answered, Councillor, by when we understand the implications of the changes to the Companion Animals Act. Some of Council's responsibilities about how animals are treated, whether they're required to be desexed if they're stray and those sorts of things may change, and some of the ways that animals are treated when they're adopted by people before Council interacts with them, and those sorts of things may change as well. But we're not sure yet until the Act is formally changed. So it may become cheaper for Council to deal with those sort of animals, or it may stay the same, it may become more expensive. It's also a question of supply, so the organisation that currently provides those services for Council, there may be a cheaper alternative once that contract expires.
Thank you. All right, councillors, I now bring this matter for the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Councillor Bramble, Councillor Northworthy, Councillor King. Oh, I declare motion carried unanimously. Okay, now going to E03. Can I move? Councillor Barty, second Councillor Reddy. Anyone want to speak for this motion? Councillor.
Could I speak? Thank you to the staff for bringing this back. This is, again, in response to a comment of mine. Look, I became very concerned with bike paths and our plans for them when I first saw the active transport plan. There are a lot of anticipated future bike paths, and I don't mean shared paths, I mean bike paths in particular. Certainly shared paths can have an impact, but a bike path construction could severely harm the character of a local street. And so, as we've seen on the Crescent and the sort of uproar in the community that occurred when we first consulted on that matter before we came to sort of adjust it. So I'd like to just add a point here to amend, I guess, which is to review the Strathfield active transport plan with the goal of removing plans for any future bike paths.
Bike lane or bike path?
Bike paths with the exception of shared paths.
Thank you. Councillor Northworthy?
Yeah, just looking at the map in the report, it doesn't differentiate between bike paths and shared paths, so it's unclear which ones we'd be removing and which ones would still exist.
You accept the memo?
Yep.
Any other debate for this matter? If not, I put this matter for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Councillor King, Councillor Brady, Councillor Reddy, Councillor Bremo. Against? Councillor Northworthy, I declare the motion carried. Okay, for EO4, lanterns in Homebush West, I will move the motion. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Reddy. Councillor Northworthy, are you going to speak for that as you pick this one up?
Oh, sure. Didn't realise that was me. Yeah, like it's a nice idea, I think. I'm just not sure budget-wise. Like it's already included in the budget, or like it can be fit into an existing budget. I'm just not convinced it's a priority at the moment in terms of all the other things we've got going on. Talked a moment about cats. It's potentially going to be a costly exercise. I guess in my ideal world, maybe I'd push it a year or two down the track, wait till some of these other things fall into place, maybe similar to Councillor Blighty mentioned earlier, the fuel shortage / price spike perhaps could be over in 12 months, and then we could reassess then. It's already got some lighting. I quite like the lighting, but yeah, it's just for me not right now a priority.
Councillor Bremo.
Just a couple of things. It just seems this is, it's sort of like we've put the cart before the horse. Like it just says council endorse this proposal. The first question is, the report states it has been requested that council investigate the feasibility of installing Chinese-style lanterns at Homebush West Town Centre. So the question is, who requested this? And was it the businesses or was it the landowners in the shop? So if I can get an answer on that first.
Thank you, Councillor.
Businesses?
Through the chair, the request came through the mayor.
So I'll probably want to put an amendment first. I know it's the mayor's the head of the council and tell everyone what to do, but normally there's a bit of protocol. I would think that you would consult the businesses and you would consult the landowners first. So I think we're missing a step. I'm not saying I'm opposed to this. I'm just saying that council consult the impacted businesses and landowners, basically prior to, and that feedback, yeah.
Thank you, Councillor.
Yeah, I'm still talking, so. I just think, look, the thing is, it's fantastic, and we look at this, the population has changed down there. Most common overseas birth countries in the area is from India, so 17.1%. China is 12.5 now, 12.2%.
What is?
There. So, 2021, there we go. So my thing is, like, when you're putting up these Chinese lanterns, and as I'm saying, I'm not opposed to it, but it does also limit who the landowners can rent their businesses to, because their property may not be compatible with one particular culture. And I know it might look pretty and all the likes, but it's basically saying that this is a Chinese area and that only Chinese businesses can rent here. So I really do think that we should consult the landowners, really in particular, and the businesses before we do anything.
Thank you, Councillor Bermo. As I requested for the lantern to be lit in the Homebush West, that I was consulted with the local business owner already.
Can you provide that consultation, please?
It would be nice to read that.
That's only go through, talk to many shop owners, even though the Indian shop owners, they are really support this one, they don't mind.
Yep.
So we just listen to what you say. Don't worry about proper consultation with landowners or businesses, we just do whatever you want.
No, it's not whatever it's not whatever I talk.
Well, it is. It's, Councillor Choi, I'm not having I'm just saying there's a way to do things. And the way to do it is to ask the landowners who own the buildings there and have to rent out these properties, to potential businesses. Like, it's hard enough to find tenants as it is. There's a lot of empty shops there and other parts of our area too. But it does kind of limit it. So basically, the mayor's just made a request. I want this. He had a chat to a few of your friends down there, and then it happens. I just really think we should consult the businesses and the landowners before we do this.
Yes, Councillor Barty.
Mr. Mayor, look, I'm in agreement with Councillor Blackmore. I think that a consultation with local businesses as to this final plan would be great, very beneficial. I'm sure, as you would agree, they will all be in support.
Yes.
So it won't be harmful just to get a bit of response from them with a formal survey.
Mm-hmm.
Just to ask them what they think, and then vote on this, or the endorsement of the proposal once we see it. So that we could probably amend to say that the proposal will come back to council after the consultation is done.
I'm supportive of it as long as the businesses and the landowners support it.
Can I ask you something? This lantern is made in China?
No.
No, made in Australia?
I'm not sure. I got the GM to respond to this question.
Through the chair, we have received preliminary quotations from local manufacturers, so it will be made in Australia.
So quality is already guaranteed.
Yeah, we will.
It's up there.
I think it's a fair, reasonable amendment.
I think we should amend point 1 though, if the council would agree, that council,
Reconsider at a later date.
that after a consultation, council revisit I think that's appropriate. If the movers will agree.
It's okay.
What do we mean to revisit?
So we bring it back to the meeting. The idea here is to,
Endorse it.
we just ask the business owners to do a survey, and then once they agree, we can bring it. Because maybe they'll have ideas, they like a different style, or they want more of them, or something like that. So we'll just ask them what they think of this proposal, and then we bring it back.
210,000.
Thank you, Councillor. I will accept them.
Thank you very much, Councillor Carr.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Okay, councillors.
Let's put it to vote.
Okay, councillors.
Nothing fair.
Okay, councillors. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you, councillor. I declare motion carried unanimously. Rule 5. I'll move. Can I have a seconder for this motion? Councillor Brady. Anyone want to speak for this motion? Councillor Northworthy.
Yeah, I just want to quickly note some of the participation stats. Obviously, we've got a lot of basketballers, a lot of volleyballers, not so many pickleball and paddle ballers. So obviously, we should consider that when constructing new facilities. Some of them can be multi-use. Absolutely, you can put more than one set of lines on a court, and I think that is our goal. Unfortunately, we did take away a basketball court at Strathfield Park in the short term, with a view to hopefully putting one back when there's funding available. But I'd like councillors to be informed by these numbers about what people want to play and what they're struggling to find in our area. And I think the main hole we have is basketball, and perhaps that can be considered in upcoming master plans of our various parks to cater for that.
Any other questions for this motion?
All good.
Oh, good. Now put the motion to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. I declare motion carried unanimously. And EO6, I need a seconder for the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Reddy. Anyone want to speak for the motion? Councillor Brady?
I'm just seconding it.
Depends if we talk numbers or not.
No,
Second.
seconded by Councillor Reddy.
Oh, sorry.
Send this.
No, I moved the motion.
Yeah. EU6.
I can go if we're waiting for.
Anyone want to speak for the motion? Yes, Councillor Northworthy.
Yeah, I have some concerns. Obviously, we've had some issues with software in the past. We've bought systems that haven't worked as intended. Obviously, we're not quite there yet. I know we've got a preferred option. I'm not, having spoken to councillors that use it, not convinced it works as well as we hope yet. Obviously, there's concerns about not having a mobile app and whatnot, but I just think one of my suggestions might be that councils even get to practice with it and see if it works the way we want it to work. Obviously, Strathfield Select Parking app has had issues, the Hub app's had issues, so maybe there isn't a great app. This might be the best of some not very great options, but I'd just like maybe a bit more oversight before we commit to negotiating with them.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the issue with that would be during the procurement process, you're at the closing point of the tender, it wasn't part of the evaluation process, so you wouldn't be able to step backwards and include that as part of the actual process from there.
Yes, Councillor
Look,
Brady.
I think it's a step in the right direction. We initiated this over a year ago in terms of looking at better ways to deal with bookings. We've had some absolute horror stories that the staff would be aware of when it comes to the booking of particularly council facilities or venue spaces and whatnot. And I think this is, the end of what has been a somewhat arduous journey, but a very good one at that in terms of the outcome. I think digitalising this will make it much simpler for everyone. We will no longer need to print out a form, fill it out by hand, scan it, send it to a member of staff via email, and we'll await for a few days a response to hire a room. There are plenty of councils that use this particular system or other digital systems where it's all done online and extremely simple. Our current method is way out of date, and I think this is something I'm happy with. Whether or not we go with this particular business, I'm relatively indifferent about, but it seems like they fulfill what we're after, and so whether it's them or someone else, again, I'm indifferent, but supportive of at least theoretically changing the thing and making it all much simpler.
Supporting. Yeah, my experience booking, because I book a lot of sports from non-profit bookable halls and things. And almost of the cars use Bookable. Bookable, this system, they use it. It's my experience.
Somebody's that. Is that Atticus?
Okay, councillors, any further debate for this matter? If not, I bring this motion to the vote. All those in favour, please put your hand up. Councillor Bremo, Councillor King, Councillor Brady, Councillor Reddy. Against? Councillor Northworthy. I declare motion carried.
Still carried.
Okay, now we go EO7, license renewal of Strathfield Golf Court.
Yeah.
I'm going to move it. Can I have a seconder for this one?
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Reddy. Anyone want to speak for this motion?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. It probably depends on the content of the discussion. So if you're talking about the commercials, you would need to go into confidential, but the discussion will need to be contained to the commercials. So I'll hand over to you, Mr. Mayor, to deal with that if that's the discussion.
Councillors, are we willing to go to closed session?
We're going to move to session first.
Move to closed session agenda.
All right.
So you'll need a motion.
Okay, can I have mover? Councillor Brady, can I have seconder? Councillor Reddy?
And go to closed session. All in favour?
Oh, everybody agree?
Yeah, unanimous.
Councillor Northworthy? Okay, Councillor Bramall, Councillor Kim, Councillor Barty, Councillor Lee. Against, Councillor Northworthy. Okay, motion carried. Okay, now we go into.
Motion carried, I want.
Welcome back, councillors. That the council approves for the GM to negotiate a license which is no less than the minimum terms that were approved during the confidential section. Second, should these terms be achieved, the GM has delegation to finalize the license and undertake public exhibition of its proposed grant license. Third, delegate to the GM to sign and execute the license on behalf of council. Number 4, should the minimum terms not be achieved by June 2026, the matter be returned to council to further consider best utilization of the land. That's the final version of this motion. Does anybody want to debate for the?
No.
No, I could have sent you a minute.
Decide on the screen.
Oh, this motion was,
Accepted unanimously.
no. This motion was moved by Benjamin, Councillor Chai, and seconded by Reddy, Councillor Reddy. What's that? Okay, I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. I declare motion carried unanimously. Okay, we go into 12.1. I'll move the motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Reddy. Anyone want to speak for the motion?
I just have a brief.
Thank you, Councillor Bramall.
Just in relation to this, so as part of the minutes, item PE1, preparation of Stratford Townsend Master Plan, there's a lot of commentary on here, and I've been fortunate enough to have someone transcribe the meeting for me, just to make sure we didn't miss any points. My comment would be, and I think that we probably, I don't know whether it can be altered or whether we need to alter it or defer for staff to reconsider. But there are a number of items here. So this report that came to the Strategy Committee was about input from councillors. There are a number of items that I've briefly picked up on that haven't been included. There's a couple of things there, but there's also a couple of things that has actually been staff feedback, which has been included as councillor feedback. So just trying to find the right way to get that amended to be more accurate to the recording. Should we just asking whether can we defer that to have staff review this, or what's the most appropriate course of action?
Thank you, Councillor. Can I have?
Mr. Chair, so that's a recommendation to the council meeting, so you can amend if you have those amendments as part of the resolution to be passed this evening, or if you're unhappy with it, then you can not accept that recommendation from the committee and provide an opportunity to rework at the next committee and get it accurate, so depending upon how council wants to progress it.
Thank you, Councillor Barty.
Look, I'm happy with, delaying it 7 days or something like that. I'm just conscious that we are putting a time limit on the master plan as it is, and it's a time-sensitive sort of thing. By the sounds of things, it's more a record of who said what that you're concerned about.
There's items that
You don't want included, for example. Well,
the things that have been mentioned, which was staff mentioned it, it's a councillor's input session.
Yeah. Okay. So what if we changed what?
The problem is it's quite a long discussion that we had on that one, Councillor Bellardi, and I work full time, so I haven't had the time to go through every single item and do that. I think they've received, the planners and the council have received this brief feedback, and they've got the minutes. So I think deferring this to the next strategy meeting just for, can you defer just that one item, Mr. Ray? Yeah? So that's what I'd probably like to do, just to recommend that we adopt the recommendation listed in the SPC 826, SPC 926, and then another point to just say that basically the SPC 1026 item be deferred to the next, what is it called, Strategy and Policy Committee meeting for clarification on the minutes.
Sorry, are you proposing we send back all A, B, C?
No, just C, that's what I'm saying.
Just C?
Yeah.
Yeah, done. Okay.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, can I just seek clarification? In the paper, there are 4 items, A, B, C and D. So as I understand it, you're recommending that A and B be accepted.
Sorry, A, B and D.
And, yes, so we're including D as well?
Yeah, yeah. So just, yeah.
Pulling out only C.
Yeah, that's right, but,
Who's supposed to PK, yeah. Councillors, hello, anyone?
Which one?
D was supposed to work.
Yeah, and we didn't, and then the omnibus amendment kind of did it for us. Because he did trees and...
Anyway, that's, yeah.
It was 10:30 and Sandy wanted to go home. Sorry, Councillor.
Sorry, who moved and seconded that? Sorry.
Sandy, you
I
said it.
seconded.
Who moved it?
I think she's accepted.
We did the amendment.
Yep.
Okay. If no other, I put this one for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Councillors?
So just that one item. The other one's all.
Councillor Kim?
Councillor Kim?
I declare motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, the next one is 12.2.
Transfer.
Can I have a seconder for this motion? Seconder, Sandy ready? Anyone want to speak for this motion? Councillor Baradi? It's your committee.
No.
Thank you, Councillor. If no other debate, I put this
Actually, one question. Are the minutes wrong? I'm just, do we have the right month minutes in this? I only briefly looked through thinking it was 1 month, but are we a month behind?
That's March.
That's the March one, but I know it says it's the March one. So I think it might be, unless the one that we've had most recently is the next month one. Is that
Yeah, with the change in the council meeting dates, we've got this aligned. So these are the March minutes, even though we've now put on an April.
Okay, I was just checking, because I thought, yeah. All right, thank you. That's fine then, yeah.
Thank you, councillors. If no other debate, I put this one to vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. I declare motion carried unanimously. Okay, last items. Can I have a seconder for this one? Councillor ready?
Which one?
Anyone want to, the last item, 13.2. Anyone wants to debate for this matter?
Lieutenant.
Well, it's a question, and I have a question, so we
Questions?
pass the question. Yeah.
If not,
We just voted to pass the questions, right?
okay.
So we're voting to send the question.
Yeah, and then come back to the next meeting. Okay?
Ask questions.
I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Okay, the April public forum was held at 6 p.m. this evening prior to the commence of this ordinary meeting. The record of public forum will be made available on council website.
Yeah, I have a matter of urgency.
there's no,
Mr Mayor?
yeah, there's,
What are you thinking? Yeah, I have a matter of urgency, Mr Mayor, if I may. It's in terms of one of our users of a community hall. I believe it's on the board if you'd like to have a read.
yeah.
Is it matters of urgency? Okay.
I think they're about to get booted out.
I have a question.
Are they still in the lease or not?
Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah, so they lease it like 2 hours a week, and they had previously used that room and were now told they had to pay extra for it. So that's the current situation. So otherwise they'd be removed from that room and be maintained to the large room that they continue to rent without being able to use the side office.
They want to use an extra place.
I think my understanding is they're already using it without
lease.
Their lease was for the central room, and they were using a small side room.
Yeah.
And now the council's gone to them and said, well, please stop using that room, you're not paying for it. And they kind of go, well, we've used it all the time, it's not very big, it's not, various arguments about not impeding on anyone else. So, they provide a great community service, so I would like to see them allowed to continue to use that side room. I believe it's an office space, like a small office.
Why can't they maybe add it to the lease to the same price? That's it.
Well, that's what it's saying. They can use it, but it's no additional fee.
Are they coming for lease?
Well, I think
Councillor, I think you better explain to me why this one is urgent.
because if we don't act, they'll stop being able to use the office space and the equipment will be removed.
Yeah, but they could follow the process.
Okay, but I'm asking for a mild exception in this case.
I think this is not urgent. I was,
All done.
okay, thank you, councillors. Okay, there be no further business. I declare the meeting closed. The time being 10:01. Thank you.